Recorded Books presents The Silent Shore, The Lynching of Matthew Williams and the Politics of Racism in the Free State, by Charles L. Chavis Jr., narrated by Korey Jackson. These aren't good times for a Negro man to be too proud, step too high. There are a lot of white men hard up. There are a lot of white men out of work. They won't be wanting to see a big, proud black man getting along. There'll be lynchings now. Sherwood Anderson, Look Out, Brown Man, The Nation, 1930. Fear and anger are a threat to justice. They can infect a community, a state, or a nation, and make us blind, irrational, and dangerous. Brian Stevenson, Just Mercy, 2014. Preface. Hidden in full view, confronting the specter of white supremacy in black life and historical research. History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, but if faced with courage, need not be lived again. Maya Angelou, On the Pulse of Morning, January 20th, 1993. On January 6, 2021, while finalizing revisions of the manuscript for this book, I took a break just after midnight to check on the returns coming in from the Georgia Senate runoff election. By then, it was clear that Reverend Dr. Raphael Gamaliel Warnock, the son of sharecroppers, had defeated Republican incumbent Kelly Loeffler, becoming the first black Democratic U.S. Senator elected in the South and only the 11th black senator elected in U.S. history. Especially given the heightened racial divisions in the country over the previous 4 years, Warnock's victory was a triumph for African Americans and our democracy. The next morning, I went back to writing and called my 6-year-old son, Noah, down the stairs and held him in my arms, thinking about what Reverend Warnock's victory meant for my son's future. Indeed, as in the Reconstruction era, my celebration and hopefulness following November 3, 2020, were short-lived. For also on January 6th, I learned that a mob of pro-Trump insurrectionist rioters had descended on the United States Capitol following the start of a joint session of Congress to tally the Electoral College votes for President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. As I watched footage of the white mob with nooses and Confederate battle flags, wearing tactical gear and plain clothes, I saw on live television the mob spirit that I had been studying for more than 5 years. However, like the records that I would salvage, historical records detailing those involved, those who were complicit, and those who witnessed the lynching of Matthew Williams, this mob spirit, much like white supremacy, has been hidden in full view. Indeed, incidents of overt racial violence can often pull our attention away from systemic racism. While the two are not the same, they produce the same outcomes in that they function as a mechanism of control and oppression. Failing to understand the elusive nature of white supremacy makes room for well-intentioned whites to dismiss the overt acts of racial violence personified in the manifestation of lynch mobs, neo-Nazis, and the alt-right as being anecdotal one-offs and the actions of a deranged marginal faction. Their solution is to ignore or to root out and prosecute such backward, uncivilized, and un-American actors. This prosecution must be carried out. But how do we deal with the anti-blackness and white supremacy that manifest themselves within our institutions, practices, and behaviors, and every system of our society? To deal with these systemic manifestations of white power and anti-blackness, we must realize that white supremacy thrives on the suppression of narratives of the oppressed, marginalized, and outcast. Salvaging the narratives of the oppressed. As a historian and civil rights activist, I confront white supremacy by salvaging the narratives of the oppressed. In this case, the 90-year-old narrative of a young
Sample complete. Ready to continue?